found out why my sister kept a hidden bucket list journal, and it destroyed me. My sister Mia collapsed at her own high school graduation. One moment she was waving to me in the crowd, and the next she was on the ground. Her friends were screaming, and the joyful mood was no longer there. It became all blurry after that, and I rushed to hold Mia and make sure she was breathing before the ambulances showed up. She had no pre-existing condition or anything, so we were all shocked when this happened. Once we got to the hospital, it took 2 nights for the doctors to figure out that she had a rare degenerative disease, and they warned us that she would not be with us for a long time. Our parents fell apart, but I stayed in Mia's hospital room praying that everything would go back to normal. One day when my parents were with her in the hospital, I was cleaning Mia's room when I found her old backpack tucked in the corner. Inside was a notebook, and when I flipped through it, I saw a bunch of lists. She had bucket lists, places she wanted to go, and things she wanted to try. I never knew she'd ever written these, but I felt horrible knowing I couldn't change her diagnosis, and this must have been something she'd felt for some time now. As helpless as I felt, I knew I vowed to myself to do everything in my power to change the way Mia's last few weeks were, and I sold my art online and picked up extra shifts at the campus library. At that point, Mia was back at home and bedridden, and every night before I'd leave, I told Mia I was just going to work, but I was booking concert tickets, trading my old car for a battered used van, and quietly cashing out every favor I had. One weekend, I woke Mia up before dawn and drove her 3 hours to the coast. She kicked off her shoes and ran into the water, laughing so hard she forgot to cough. I watched her let the tide pull her hair wild and salt sticky, and for the first time in weeks, she looked alive. I carried her notebook with me, slowly ticking off her wishes one by one, and after each thing was fulfilled, Mia would hug me and tell me how much she loved me. We were closer than ever before. For Mia's birthday, I bought us plane tickets to go to Iceland and see the Northern Lights, and if only I knew what would happen on that trip, I would have never tried to cross this wish off her bucket list. We had left the doctor's office earlier that day, and they told us to enjoy the trip. Mia and I boarded the plane, and a few hours after takeoff, I noticed Mia was exceptionally drowsy. I figured it must be the altitude and dozed with her head on my shoulder, but before I knew it, I felt Mia's head slipping off me, and she hit the seat in front of her. I tapped her lightly, but she wouldn't wake up, and my heart ran cold as I realized something was terribly wrong. I called out to the flight attendants for help, and a few of them ran over and immediately started assisting, but with the look in one of their eyes, I could tell this was worse than anything I wanted to imagine. They started the chest compressions and CPR, and one of them brought over an oxygen tank and an AED, but nothing helped. Mia wasn't coming back to her senses. After a doctor on board stepped in to assist, he walked me to the back of the plane and asked me multiple questions. I explained to him what I could, but he held me by the hands and put an arm on my shoulder in a loving way, before proceeding to tell me that my sister was no longer with us. He wasn't sure what it was, but with all the measures they'd taken, they were not able to bring her back. Once the plane diverted and landed, EMTs met us, and we sped directly to the hospital. Doctors ran tests on her as I held Mia's hand and cried, thinking none of this could be real. The pressure and altitude of the plane had been too much on Mia's heart and lungs, and with her condition, she was unable to make it. I called my parents who met us at the hospital, and as much as we were all weeping, my mom held my head in her chest as she said, "Honey, Mia passed going someplace she'd always dreamt of going thanks to you, and I never want you to blame yourself for it. It's been years of therapy now, and I feel better, but my life will never be the same."